Now, so far, all the renderings have used interior light sources, but we need to look also at interior views lit by the sun. And since we have a window in place, we can do that. Now, rather than use a solar light, however, I'm going to add a directional light source to the model, which will act like the sun. A directional light can be manually located in the model, but alternatively, if you really need specific day and time lighting, then you should set up a solar light in the model. Now, before we start, let's attach the directional light right now. And I'm going to do something which you may find a little odd. I'm going to make sure that my constructions are on. I'm going to change my color to red for my construction lines and start the line tool. And I am going to start my line tool. Let's put multi-snaps on first. Just below the window here, come out a direction of, let's say, 8 foot or around 2500 millimeters. And then we'll change direction and we'll go upwards 13 feet or about 4000 millimeters. So there's my location point for the directional light. And now we need the light source itself. So let's go to the light manager and we will apply a directional light. I'm going to leave the settings as they are here. I'm not going to change anything. There's the location and it's going to snap to the center of the window. Now, as a matter of interest, let's have a look at this light and get rid of that. And just going to click on it. And we see the light path displayed, which looks a little bizarre, but we'll have a look at it again when we look at the inside view. But that's what the directional light looks like. It's really a cone. But the point to remember here is that the directional light encompasses the entire model, not just this building, and it points in one direction. And the light is both beyond the light source and behind the light source. All right, get rid of that. Now I just need to go back to the light manager and make absolutely sure that everything else is off. So my ambient comes off, flash bulb comes off, solar definitely comes off, and the sky dome can come off. We'll take these out too for the moment. Now these are the two interior lights. Don't need those on. Okay, so all we have now is the directional light. That can go. All right, let's get to the inside of the building. So I'm going to go back to my view 5. And I need to move around in the view so I can see the window. So I'm going to go to the camera tools and click on define camera. And now I'm going to maneuver so I can see everything, including the window. I'm going to start with pan horizontal and just pan in this direction. So there's my window. Now this actually won't do because my bookcase is obviously looking rather strange. So let's move backwards at the same time. Let's see how that goes. Yep, that's a lot better. Backwards and sideways a bit. And you can see the window. My bookcase looks reasonably good now. And we'll drop it there. Okay, let's put a fence on. Let's pick up everything in that location there. Looks good. And let's do a render. I'm going to work in draft for the moment. And run this. Now this will be quick and dirty. There. That's what I mean by dirty. This is a very rough render. But you see the idea. Our windows are transparent and we're seeing the directional light, i.e. the sun, nicely on the floor. Very dark in the corner over here because there's not a lot of bounce light yet. But we do have a lot of reflection on the walls, there, and on the ceilings. Really need to reduce those a little bit. So we'll do both of these. So I'm going to get rid of that for the second. I'm going to go to my materials manager. We'll start with the floor, which is already selected. That's 9. I'm going to take that right down to maybe 1. Reflections can be 1 as well. The walls, again, I'm going to take down to 1. Reflect can be 1. That's fine. And the ceiling white. That's already 1. That's 2. Let's bring that down to 1. Okay, let's try a render right now. Bring my render back. But this time let's up the stakes a bit and use an interior better. It'll take a little longer, but we can do some comparisons with that draft. There, and we're done. It's looking an awful lot better. Still have a lot of reflections coming on the ceiling and the walls. The floor's not too bad. It would be a shiny floor. but the walls are a bit too shiny. We may have to take off the reflections completely. A little better in the corner here. Still a few artifacts going on, little blotches everywhere, and some odd things going on behind here, but not too bad. Certainly if we up the stakes with a high quality interior render, things will look a lot better. Now this render gives you a really good idea as to how light is processed in Luxology. Keep in mind that this sunlight has been reflected from all the surfaces in this room, including the surfaces behind us too. So all of those surfaces have an effect on the render. So what I'd like you to do is to change your material settings if you are seeing the same high reflections. Bring them down to perhaps 0 or even 0.5 for the materials. The 0.5, of course, you have to enter manually. You can't do that with the sliders. Try turning on 1 or more of the interior lights as well to see what effects that have. And try an even better quality render than we've used here. Just be prepared for a fair length of time. Now, just to round this off, I'm going to get rid of that for the second. I'll turn that one off too. And zoom out a little bit. And I'm going to turn my instructions back on because I want to look at this light for you. So let's pick on my directional light. And you see that running through the building here. It's centered here in the middle of the window, but it projects into the distance. Just gives you an idea of how this thing works. Okay, so experiment a little bit, and then we'll move on to the next part of this interior process.